morning, everyone, and welcome to the Power Team Tech Call for February. Today, we're going to be talking about what to do at the feasibility evaluation when you're at the inspection. We're going to be describing what the reports are you need to make sure are completed and prepared before going to the property. Whoops, I don't know what's going on there. And we're also going to talk about how to evaluate the property. Samantha, real quickly, I think we wanted to send David Thompson the link to this webinar just for today as a special bonus, and he just tried to call me. So if you could just send him
I'll
that.
reach out to him.
Okay, great. So that you could send him that webinar link. Okay, that would be great. Okay. So what we're going to do, first of all, is, and he's calling me again, so let me put myself on Do Not Disturb. All right, perfect. All right. So first of all, I want to get a show of hands, and let me lower everyone's hands. By a show of hands, how many of you here on the call today are using ISN currently? Please raise your hand if you are currently using ISN for your inspection reporting system, for your order processing systems. Okay, so we have about 50-50. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you a few things with the ISN portal that makes my life as a consultant much easier. So first of all, I want to go to a property that, okay, I'm spelling it wrong. All right, let's just go to the calendar. So let me go to the calendar because I can't spell this property. And there it is. Oh, Muhlenberg. I thought it was McCutcheon. Okay, so I'm going to go here. You can see that this was a 203K project that was scheduled. There you can see the loan officer's information is listed, the borrower information, and there you can see that it was a New Jersey 203K renovation consultation / inspection. And there you see the fee and the mileage. All right, it's a pretty long distance, so we got a lot of mileage charge, and the client didn't blink at all. And there you can see that the agreement was signed. Now, if you're using ISN, and if you do not already have access to it, and it was delayed a little bit because they had to work on some other program enhancements, but we are steadily working with ISN to get them to put together a NAFAC portal that all of our members can simply be turned on, so you can have access to all of the autoresponders and the scheduled timing of those responders. So here you can see that we have a 203K loan officer initial verification of inspection time, and then we have client notification of inspection time with agreement. Now, the first thing that you need to know about 203K in relationship to ISN is that you have the ability to import the pre-inspection agreement that we have created for you in Genesis into your ISN agreements. So I'm just going to type the letters 203K and search. Okay, so there you can see a 203K feasibility agreement, a 203K feasibility study agreement for New Jersey, and then a sample 203K agreement. That's what I use when I'm doing testing purposes. So here you see in Genesis, when you start a project, the first thing you're going to do is you're going to create a pre-inspection. You're going to upload all the details into Genesis, which we did last week. And then when you do that, it's going to create the opportunity for you to create the pre-inspection agreement. So where do you get a picture of a property before you have actually gone out to the home? Well, my best source for that is is Google. So I just basically take the property address for this, and I just go out to the Google, and I actually find it in Google, and then I just upload that photo to a folder, and that's my first picture. And so this is the picture of the property. Yes, that's a boarded up window. And actually there's no glass in the window, it's just a board and there's open space, and yes, it was messed up in there. So this is a fun house that we were looking to do. So you import a photograph. If you need to change the title of the report, let's say you're doing a streamline, a limited 203K assessment, or a Fannie Mae home style, you can change this so that it does not have to say 203K. Then once you've imported that photo, the next thing you need to do is you need to update your consultant services agreement. Now, again, as I said, these agreements are able to be edited. You can edit and change any content in this agreement, and then once you complete the edit, you can save this as the new default. So here is my consultant services agreement. Now, if you want to move this over to ISN so you can give this to the client, you hit the Edit button, and then all you have to do is hit Control A to select all. Whoops, get inside here. So Control A to select all. There you go. And then you hit Control C to copy. Then you go over to your agreement section in ISN. So I'm going to go in here to this sample agreement. And there you can see this is the agreement. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to white all this out. Just delete it. So actually I could have just hit select all, but if I did I would have wiped out what I'm holding in the copy section. So I'm just going to just manually remove it. You get the point. So let's assume this was a blank document and didn't have anything in it. So now I'm going to hit Control V and paste in here what I copied from the Genesis system. So now once that's completed, once I've imported it into ISN, the next step is I need to add the signature files, okay? And so now I need to add the replacement value. So here you can see that client signature. So I'm going to import the client signature, and it went there. And I'm going to tab over, whoops, or space over a little bit, and then I'm going to insert client signature date. And then underneath that, I'm going to insert client name. Client name. And I'm going to insert, just for more clarity, the property address. Here it is, inspection address. Let's see, I want the whole address. There's one that's called inspection address. Trying to find it here. Let me slow down and find it here. Okay, so the inspection address 1, and then underneath it I'm going to put in the inspection address 2, the inspection city, space, state, city, and I'll put a comma next to the city, comma, space, state, space, and then zip code. All right, and then next to address line 1, I'll put a space, and so in case there is an address line 2, like a unit address, apartment number, or something of that nature, it will display. Okay, so this is now the entire contract. So now I'm going to save this agreement. And I'll go back to the agreement. Now, when is this agreement going to be? It's now a signable agreement, and it requires a signature. Initial walkthrough and feasibility study of, and I would have entered the property address there. And here you can see all this information, and there you can see the client's name, his street address, the property address, city, state, and zip, and now he can hit the agree and sign agreement online. So now the client actually did do that. He did sign the agreement, and for that case, and so now this agreement is actually for Pennsylvania. It's used in the state of Pennsylvania, so you actually can edit the agreement when it's used, and now this is how you associate an agreement with the inspection type. So once you've created the agreement, you click this button here, and then you're going to have your inspection order type. So in our situation, this is an inspection agreement for a New Jersey residential inspection, and that's a standard residential. And so here we go down to 203K. So we're going to go down to the 203K agreement. So here you can see the New Jersey, and then here's 230 home inspection package. Where was the Pennsylvania? I passed it. There it is, new renovation consultation 203K inspection. That sends out the feasibility study agreement, and it also is usable with the New Jersey agreement. Okay, it's renovation consultation 203K inspection. And then that's what's used for that agreement. So now if I wanted to change for my 203K and use this sample agreement, that's what I would check off. Okay? So you select which agreement is going to be used. If you're doing a property that has mold, radon, termite, and you have separate agreements for each of those services, then you're going, so we have a limited inspection agreement that we use, and a commercial agreement, and an underground storage tank testing agreement. So anytime you have a 203K residential consultation with inspection, it gets both of these agreements. And if you have a 203K home inspection package, then it's going to, the 203K home inspection package is going to give the agreement, environmental testing, and the New Jersey, and depending on what state it is, will determine which of these agreements is used. So since I have Pennsylvania and New Jersey, the agreement will only show up if it is in that state. That's why we checked off both boxes. So you see, this is for New Jersey, this is for Pennsylvania. All right, so does everybody understand how to update the agreement in ISN? Raise your hand. Okay. Excellent. All right, so let's keep moving forward, because that was a little bit of complication, and if you need more individualized help, please don't hesitate to schedule a one-on-one coaching call with me or contact your agent at ISN. They can absolutely help you with that. So now once you have set that up so that it automatically sets out the agreements, the next thing you want to do is set up your autoresponders, your email events. And so you can set up, so we can actually, you can see that I had a draw inspection. All of these here, client verification of inspection with agreement, is used for all these types of inspections, including 203K. And then here is an agreement for the 203K inspection verification of appointment. All right, and that actually uses the agreement form for that, and here is the email template right here. And so we can go over here and we can see the email template. So 203K sending draw inspection report to contractor. All of these are autoresponders that are set up for you to be able to use, and it shows you how to use them. So here, thank you, following inspection, 203K post-inspection letter, 203K sending consultant, 203K 7-day follow-up, notification of bid meeting. All of these are autoresponders that already automatically go out timed with the event. And the way that you can edit them, we'll go out here to that email template, is by going to the dashboard, email templates, edit email template, and then here is the 203K contractor bid meeting schedule notification to client. You put your text in, and we have all of this information. I believe we saved all of these texts in a Word file, correct, Samantha? I think she stepped away from her desk. But if we
yes,
do,
no, I'm here. I was just muted. Yes, these are all saved in a Word file too. I have them in Dropbox, I believe. Are they in Dropbox?
Okay, if you could put that link here in the, if that is a Word file or an Excel file, if you could just drag and drop it in now as a handout that everyone can have available to them to use to set up in their ISN.
Okay, is that in Dropbox?
I believe it is. I'm pretty sure it is.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll
You look up ISN emails, search for that.
Okay, sure. Mm-hmm.
All right, so so we've created a whole series of emails. So if we go back to our email templates and we just type in the phrase 203K, these are all, so let's search and let's just put 40. So here, these are all of the 203K emails and that are sent out. All right, so anything that has to do with the 203K process, you have 203K either in the body of the email or in the title, and you can actually see all of the emails that we have that relate to 203K activities, 36 of them. And so the one that you're going to use now is the 203K preliminary report as a link and as an attachment. And this is your preliminary report. That's the feasibility study, and that's the report that will that's the email that is automatically sent out when it actually as part of the inspection. So let's go back here to an order. So you change your agreements in agreements, and you can add your inspection types from this point here. So let's go back out to Muhlenberg. And it's also a good idea to get the person to pay online with their credit card. So here you can see the list of autoresponder emails that went out to both the client, his real estate agent, and the lender. And as you can see, the borrower is quite good at opening emails. So this one he did not open, this one he did not, but this one he did, this one he did. This one Robert did, this one Robert did. The client's emails, see, he did not, looks like he did not open it yet. Yes, it's unread. He did not open it, but he said he got it. And you can keep track of who opened what and when using this program. So they said they got them, but there's no record of them having opened them. And I love that because here I can say, hey, you know what? My staff can look and say, you haven't opened your email. What's going on? Okay? So now this email here was sent 3 days ago. It's actually, this is a reminder of inspection time. This is because we're doing another inspection for this client. We're going out and we're going to be doing mold, radon, and termite inspection. So we've reset and we're sending out a new email to them. So this is probably why this is now said it's unread or to be sent, because this is that reset the clock when we started the new activity. Okay. So here you can see that this is the new order. So let me put in the other order, MUH. That's the one I meant, this one here that I did. Okay, great. So I received $479 for the 203K, and now we're going to get another $600 for all the additional ancillary tests. Not a bad day. So this is the one I had opened earlier to show you that the client and the agent both opened every single email and read them all. And so you can see here that every single one of these, it tells me exactly that it was read by the agent, and this is a great resource for you to keep track of what you're doing and how things are going. So here we have the sending report as an attachment. Sending report as an attachment. So these are reports that are waiting to send. These are emails waiting to send once I upload the report, which I can't do till after we have completed the additional studies. Okay? But you can see here that the client signed the agreement online and he paid online. And all that information, paid by credit card. All right, and so you can see all the details. So I actually can go in. Oops, I didn't want to complete it. Go back. So now I can actually view agreements. And I have a permanent record, and there you can see that he signed them both, this residential inspection agreement and the feasibility study agreement. He signed them both online. And so I have a permanent record of his signature for this services. And that saves me a lot of trouble. So with the fact that he signed it online, when I go out to the property for the appointment, I'm taking a copy of the consultant services agreement and the non-home inspection disclosure form, so I can just show you what that looks like. We'll preview that. There's no editing of that form. It's just an automatically generated form. And there you can see the client's name. I'm not acting as a home inspector. And if I had clicked the button, my signature would have automatically been added to it. So now I go back to the task list. Now, the client has already signed it, but I'm still going to take this to them as a binder. I'm putting this all in the binder. I hit the sign button. I hit print, preview, inspection report. Okay. And I'll look for the email, Samantha. Look for ISN emails. Try that term. So here's my preliminary 203K report. This is the cover page showing the client information and the loan officer. Here's the consultant services agreement. It has my signature on it already. And then here is the non-inspection disclosure with my signature on it. Now, I print these off, I put them in a 3-ring view binder, and I put this cover page in the inside of that front pocket of the view binder. I put this in a sleeve of the view binder, so this is what's on the cover, and this is what's in the body of the report. And additionally, I actually have a page that I create, and I'll show you what that page looks like right now. It's called our general information page. It's actually what they use as their receipt, and we usually print it off in 2 colors, white and yellow, so that we actually can be able to print it off. So let's go to inspection forms, and let me get to that right here. So I'll show you what this page looks like, and it's a really nice form that when someone especially is paying cash or has already paid, I have the ability to give them that information. So hang on, it's loading up here in a second. And it's not coming up. Ugh. Okay, so I'm not, there it is, I found it. All right, perfect. All right, so general information, there we go. All right, so this is a form that we use, and I will drag this PDF form into the handouts so that using Acrobat Reader or any PDF editor, you can go in and you can actually change this. You can just basically white out everything that I've put in here, and then you can add your own information there, and then you can actually put your own logo and insert whatever you want, and then you can print this off as a 2-form, yellow and white, fill this out, and then right here where it says what services you performed, I'll make it bigger so you can see it has lines next to each one, and then you put the inspection total fee, and then you fill out the date payments received and how they paid. So if they paid online, I write that in there. If they paid by cash, this is very useful if they pay by cash, because then this provides them with their receipt. Okay? The other thing, and so I'm going to send this to you. I'll put that into there. I just dropped it into the handouts for you. Now, the other form that I have shared with you in past is the client survey. We have a client satisfaction survey that we use for all of our inspections, and with that, and we ask the people at the end of the inspection to fill out that survey. So let me open that up and show you what that looks like. There it is. I'm going to flip it over. And so this is the client satisfaction survey. So now, many of you have already seen this form before because I have shared it with you in the past. How many remember this form in a previous webinar and have implemented using it? Okay, great. So we got some hands up. So I will basically print this for the 1 page. And again, you can edit it. You can white out this information, white out my logo. And so I'm just going to do the current page. And I'm going to save it to PDF Read Pro, and then I'll drag it into there. In a minute. Come on. There we go. So this is so I'm going to put that here back in the folder up top. I'm just going to stick it right there in my Catherine folder just for the minute. Okay, so I'm going to close out, and now I'm going to drag and drop it into the folder for you. Okay, so let me open that up, and I'm going to go back now into Genesis. And I'm dragging and dropping the client satisfaction survey in the handout so you can all download that and use it as a model for what you might want to do or to do it yourself. So now we have the pre-inspection reports. We print this to a PDF. We print it off. And if the client has already signed it, all I have to do is write on the form signed at the time of the inspection. If your client has not signed the document and you are using ISN, what I suggest that you do is have them read the agreement and then pull out your phone and have them execute the agreement on the ISN app on your phone. Anytime you can keep things electronically stored, it saves trouble when you're trying to search for documents later on. Either that, or if you prefer, make 2 copies of this entire package, the services agreement only, and then you take out and you give the 1 packet to the client, and you have the 1 copy, the signature page only, and have them sign that, and you take that back and scan it into your file. But you want to make sure that you get them to sign the document. So once you have completed the pre-inspection report, you finalize the report. Now you're going to go out to the property. What you need to take with you, and so here you can see we are at the preliminary, we're doing the preliminary work write-up that's pending. So now let's say I get out, so now what do I need when I get to the property? So I'm going to open up the folder for this specific client, so you can see the photos. Pretty sure they're there. What you take with you on a 203K project? Very simply, I take a flashlight, I take a digital camera, I take my molds equipment, okay, and so let me just put this on a Word document so you actually can see this. So make this list for you. What do I take on a 203K feasibility inspection? Bingo. Okay, what to take on a 203K feasibility inspection? Well, first of all, everything that you take on an inspection, on a regular home inspection, should be in your vehicle. I spelled that right. Okay. Because you might find the ability to upsell to the full home inspection on top of your 203K feasibility inspection. And there are many of you who are making it your business model that you will not do a feasibility inspection unless they have the home inspection with it, which is totally fine by me. So in that case, you are going to have everything with you. But at a minimum, if you are just doing just for the 203K, it depends on 2 conditions. One, if utilities are on, then you're going to need to take an outlet tester. You're going to need to have a tape measure. And you might want to use a laser as well. Okay, you want to have always, and so these are at the minimum, your digital camera with the ability to record audio. You want to be recording the entire audio of the meeting as well as the photographs, because then when you're completing the report, because you don't have to complete it on site, and if you're not comfortable with completing reports off site and you don't and you get out of the flow of taking notes on paper, then you can actually record the audio of what you discussed with the client, and then with that plus your photos, you can create your report. I love doing this because I have my phone out to take pictures anyway. So when I say digital camera, I'm basically saying in your smartphone so that you can have the ability to record. If you are going to use a separate camera, then you might want to have it as a you might want to have a recording device, you know, like a mini tape recorder, an audio recorder, an MP3 recorder in your pocket if you're going to use a separate digital camera in addition to your phone for the audio recording. Many of you are using, and it's a great opportunity right now because it's on sale and the prices have come down dramatically, and I'm going to show you what you can do. You might want to consider investing in it's actually incredibly low right now. The Cube cameras used to be $100, and we had a member who had one 2 years ago and it was $150, but right now, if you can see the screen, the Polaroid Cube is now down to $59. Okay, now obviously there's always a newer model that is more expensive, 1440p. This is 1080p, which has been fine for people for years. So now you can get it as little as $60. Oh, there's the red one, of course, has got to be 100. Go figure that. But you can get it for as little as $59, and when you open it up, I would suggest that you get accessories. The accessory, you can either have the necklace, but that just dangles too much. You can actually have now, for very reasonably priced, for an additional $23, you can get a whole accessory kit that includes a stick, a selfie, kind of like a selfie stick that you can stick it up in like an attic or outside a window to look at a roof. And it also comes with the body strap, so you actually can have it mounted on your chest so that you can actually take it wherever you go. So this whole kit, so for less than $100, you have everything you need to be able to record everything that you're doing 100% the whole time you're at the property. It even has a head mount, a head mount strap if you want to take it and have it mounted to your forehead as opposed to in your chest. If you are doing going into a crawl space or something of that nature, and it has all different. It has a strap. This is actually a wrist strap. It's very cool. It actually puts it on your wrist. But since we are writing and things, it really wouldn't be my idea to put it on your wrist. So here are all different mounts, and this is only $23. So there's your wrist mount. There's the selfie stick wand. Okay, this is where it actually connects to your phone to do a selfie. And here you can actually clip it. I'm actually going to get this, and I'm going to clip it to my car so that when I'm driving around, I can actually record videos and talk to people. And this is how people are recording things for YouTube videos and things of that nature. So all this is available. This is actually a clip that you can attach to any kind of a device with just a screw, like a tripod. So take this out with you, because video recording for the purposes of quality assurance and training purposes is how we describe it to our clients. But my suggestion is that this is good for legal purposes on every inspection as well as quality assurance. Very funny. I like that idea, Jonathan. $29.99 for me. So no, we're not selling these. You can get these online from Amazon.com, next day delivery, whatever you choose to do. How many here do use video recording on your inspections right now? Just one. Okay, so this is something that how many people like this as an idea of something to do moving forward? Raise your hand. Okay, and everybody's hands are going up now. So for such a reasonable price, you can actually take advantage of the ability to record everything, and then you just upload it with a micro USB cable to your computer, and then you're done. Okay, so this is something that we do, record audio, and I will be starting to record video moving forward, especially for training purposes for you as consultants with 203K in a box. It'll be so much easier for me to be able to share recordings of me doing consultation appointments. I'm working on getting a situation where I actually can record video live, not just through Facebook Live, but actually have you able to watch me do an inspection live while you sit at your desk. This is something we're working on through the advances of technology. So, digital camera in your smartphone with the ability to record audio. The best audio recorder I have found is called Smart Recorder. I know it's available on Android for free. I don't know if it's available for iPad. And let's see, we can go check that out right quickly. So anytime I'm out in the field, it is when I'm recording anything, any kind of a meeting. Yesterday, Super Voice Recorder is what it's called. Super Voice Recorder, not Smart Recorder. Oopsie, don't kill everything. Super Voice Recorder. So, by a show of hands, I'll lower them, how many of you saw some of the Facebook Live postings that I did yesterday from the real estate sales meeting and from the radio radio spot that I did, the radio broadcast? Okay, guys, you need to sign up for my live feeds on your Facebook so you can see what I'm doing. We had a great day yesterday. So now Super Voice Recorder, let's see if that is a Super Voice Recorder. There it is for iPhone. So there it is. It's available for iPhone. And I don't know if it costs any money. Okay, so it's free. It's free in iPhones. Record your meetings. It's the best audio recorder. It absolutely is. It records for unlimited amount of time, converts it to an MP3, AVI, whatever format you want to use, and it works beautifully. So my strongest recommendation is that you download this Super Voice Recorder for your iPhone, and Androids, automatically you should all have Super Voice Recorder. Android apps, and that's the one that I use. So here it's coming up. And this is the Super Voice Recorder app that I have on my phone, and it's fantastic. So it records everything and converts it to an easy MP3 file. So get this app, and then all you have to do is have it running in the background. It doesn't use a lot of data, a lot of juice on your phone. But just be careful, because you might forget it's running, and you might have a 5-hour recording. That has happened to me in the past. So just be mindful of that you're going to have. Okay? So what I'm going to do today, just because I want to give you that mindful thought of doing it, after I put my snowshoes on and go shovel something, I will do a Facebook Live of me doing the snow. I will send out a Skype notice so that you can all then check your phones to see if you're getting my Facebook Live posts. Okay? So because this is something that you all should be doing. So now, where are we at? What are we taking to the inspection? We've got Super Voice Recorder, Android, and iPhone free. So the utilities are on. So I've got an outlet tester, digital camera, tape measure. All right, I've got my, that's it, basically. If the utilities are off, I don't need the outlet tester. This is pretty much, now, do I take a small ladder just in case I need to climb out a window? Maybe, maybe not. I don't usually do any kind of ladders. And the only time I would need anything else is I do have a selfie stick if I don't have a ladder to be able to stick my camera up for attic inspection. Okay? So that's it. That's all that you need. Now, should you have your mold test kit and your radon test equipment? Should you have your termite probe? Yes, because all these things may be needed. Okay, so if no utilities are on, I've done a 203K with nothing with me except my cell phone, which takes my pictures, my cell phone, a flashlight. Oh, I got to put flashlight in there. Yeah, flashlight. Okay, flashlight, cell phone, and a tape measure on my belt. That's all I've walked into a house with. Left my tool bag in the car. All right, this is all you need. Okay, so if utilities are on, if the utilities are off, then you don't have to worry about the outlet tester because you won't be able to test it. So that's all you have to take when you're going out to do a 203K project. Should you take everything just in case the client wants to upsell to a 203K full? Absolutely. Take that information with you. So when you go out to the property and you take these reports, when I go out to a home and I'm evaluating the property, what I'm doing is, now some of you may choose to take the form with you for the first few times that you go out, which is the FHA Minimum Property Standard Checklist. Last night we did the Minimum Property Standard, the MPS, FAQ on MPS. Now in your thumb drives, and let me go show you where to find it. For those of you who are new and not sure of what you're going to be looking for or how to do the report, and you want to use the Quick Start training tools, and inside there you'll see initial field notes. Okay? Now I'll drag and drop that into the handouts just in case, just so you don't have to go searching for it if you don't know where your thumb drive is, for shame. But here's the initial field notes. And it's broken down into the 35 categories. It's 11 pages. Yuck. So I'm not looking to take 11 pages with me. What I did when I first started doing 203Ks was I actually just took this and I printed it on double-sided, so it was only 6 pieces of paper. And what I did was I just scribbled notes, and then I put in the location. So I just put in what was to be done and the location. I didn't worry about all this. This is a form that was created from Corporate Niche, and we might actually be creating something for us, for Genesis, inside Genesis as the field notes. And if I do something in Genesis, it will not be broken down into the 35 categories. What it will do is it will be broken down by room, by location. Okay, so in bedroom 1. So when I go out to a property now, I review the property by location, And so in each room I go in and I just basically talk into the recorder on what I have found, what needs to be done in this room, what needs to be done in that room. So if you feel the need to write something down on a clipboard, you can take this with you, but you're going to be flipping back and forth throughout this to get to each of the categories. So now what you might want to do is, if you feel uncomfortable, take a piece of paper and just divide it into sections and put rooms. Bedroom 1, bedroom 2, bedroom 3, second floor hall bath, second floor hallway, first floor room 1, dining room, living room, etc. And just put that, and then as you write down the items that you're looking for in conjunction with your audio, and then when you get back to your office, if you feel the need to write something down before you key it into Genesis, then you can print this off and use this to write the repair item to be done. You can describe whether it's mandatory, recommended, or desired, and you can write your notes here if you want to use this as your base to start from. But I would not suggest that. I'd suggest just going straight to Genesis and just start keying it into Genesis right there while you're there. But if you feel like I'm not going to remember it, you can use these initial field notes as a guide. So how do I do a 203K consultation when I'm out in the field? Let me show you what I do. So I go out to the property, I meet the client there, and I start the property inspection. So when I'm starting my property inspection, I'm starting with, open this photo, I do the exterior first, open with, photo gallery. Here. I start by, and this is my client. He's opening up the door of the house. You can see the boarded up window, okay? Whenever I'm doing multiple projects, the first picture I take in my series of pictures is a copy of the order form with the street name on it, so that I know what the separation is between properties. So now that's the first picture. This is my client opening the front door. And there I see that I have extensive concrete that has to be addressed. And so I'm taking pictures of all of the exterior of the property. So there you can see more concrete. And there you can see the picture of the siding. Now just from these pictures alone, I can tell what needs to be done to the outside. We've got peeling paint on the brick siding. So if we're going to keep the brick, we're going to have to either power wash it down to get back to the brick coloring or repaint it another color. You can see we have stone window lintels, and this is the inside of the property. So now what I wanted to show you was in ISN, go back to this, I want to just give you an idea of how sometimes you have to be able to be very creative and think on the fly. So now here is this inspection report. Now this is the property right here. All this is the property. This is the dwelling, and this is the little attached unit that's on the side of that property. So this is the building. It was, when it was first built, this was a commercial building. This was an office with a factory or some sort of manufacturing in there. So this was a manufacturing district in Philadelphia. It's now being converted into residential. But that's what the property looks like. That's what the property looks like. And this is that corner piece right there. So here you can see that we received the consultation request form from the lender, which we talked about in the last call. And we filled out the consultation order form where the client had said that no utilities are on and the property is basically a shell. So what did I take with me? Tape measure, flashlight, and phone to take pictures and record audio. That's all I took with me. So now this is that corner piece that I was just showing you in the picture, and the client had intended to make this a little storefront, like maybe a water ice store or ice cream stand or a convenience store or something. Now, here's the situation with that, and here's the problem with that concept. In order for him to get the FHA insured mortgage, the FHA mortgage, not the 203K, but any FHA insured mortgage, the appraiser is going to evaluate the entire property. We are only allowed as FHA 203K remodeling to work on and bring to updated condition the residential portion. So now we're not able to do any repairs to this piece of that property. So now by a show of hands, will any appraiser give value to this property as a commercial investment space in this condition? If you say no, raise your hand. So now, what do we do? How is he going to be able to buy this property? You're absolutely correct. How is he going to be able to buy this property and get the repairs he needs done to this piece of the unit, even though he wants to use it as a commercial? So what my creative thought was, instead of using this as a commercial space, why don't we make this into an efficiency apartment? We could, basically, it's a pretty decent sized space, as you can see. Oops, that's the street view. This is the back view. I love Google Images. It's so cool. All right, so if we go back up to here, you see it's a pretty decent sized space. And so we can turn this into an efficiency apartment. Actually, we're going to take some of the back of the building here as well. And in doing so, I can complete the repairs. Can I do renovations on 2 residential units? Raise your hand. Yes or no? Yes. Yes, can I do renovation on 2 residential units? So if I convert this to a second residential unit, it's still an investment property to the client. He still gets that revenue. It's probably going to be more easily rentable than a commercial space with less risk. And he'll be able to have the built-outs already done at the time of construction. So now, as you can see, it is a gutted shell. It's got the brick. We're going to have to put insulation. We're going to have to put drywall. We're going to have to put, this is an actual roof, so we're going to have to put roof insulation. We're going to have to put the sheetrock. We're going to have to replace the windows. I'm probably going to remove one of the windows and only have one window to give me more wall space in the room. There you can see more images of it. And here is the door that you saw in the corner, that little tiny door. So it's got 2 means of egress. I've got a window and I've got a door. Actually, I'll have 3 means of egress because I'll be able to go out the back. Here you can see I have water damage and spalling on the brickwork. And ladies and gentlemen, if you are a Diamond Level member, you have the ability for a very inexpensive amount to come right along with me on 2 days and actually observe me do consultation appointments and also view how I function in the back office situation. So here you can see this is the doorway here that leads to the back area. So here's where we're going to put a kitchen here. It's going to be a living area with a little kitchenette, and back here is where we're going to have the bathroom. And you can see the extensive water damage. We're going to rip off the entire roof. And these are the steps, and I use that term loosely, that lead up to where the bathroom will be. And here's that corridor where we're going to build a bathroom. Now remember, this was done on January 17th, so there was no utilities on, so yes, I was cold. And this is the back door leading to the yard. So now this area is going to be walled up, so the client will not have access to that back door, and by walling this area up, this is the space that I'll be able to put the bathroom. So this is where I'm going to put a wall here. There's a doorway right there that the person can go outside from that other portion of the main house. I'm going to seal this up here, and this is going to be the bath. Okay? So Darren has just said he's going to wait till I move to Florida to do a ride-along. Nice idea. Or at least until the spring or summer. So you can see that this project is going to have a lot of repairs to be done.
That's what I'm talking about. Come on down to Florida.
I won't be doing many 203Ks in Florida. I'm not looking to set up a shingle down there. I'm not looking to compete with my members who are in Florida, so don't worry, guys. It's not going to happen. Now, as you know, I said it was winter. I said it was January. I was cold. I was also wet when I was inside the house, because there was holes in the floors of the second floor and there was holes in the ceiling. So now, with this type of major, seriously damaged property, older cast iron waste pipes, all I'm doing is walking around taking photographs. There's holes in the floor to the basement. So I'm walking around taking photographs. Now, and there you can see that behind the drywall, the brick is spalling, which is telling me I have moisture problems behind this drywall. So here's the second floor where they had was an office. As I said, this was a commercial space, a manufacturing facility. Oh no, this is now leading up to the second floor. And these are concrete steps. I mean metal. These are metal steps. And this, we're going upstairs. You see the cinder block walls? And this is a very wide stairwell. Actually, there were no structural issues. The property was structurally, it was a balloon frame structure, and the walls were fine. The framing was fine. It's just everything inside was messed up. So and you can see here the cinder block walls are in pretty solid shape. The floors were crappy, but everything else, the structure was sound. The thing was standing solid. It just was, everything was just a mess on the inside. So from that perspective, it was going to be an easy rehab because it was pretty much already gutted. And this is the second floor. So now, in this situation, you can see the holes in the floors, as I showed you from underneath. Someone had started to try to run some PEX and PVC. Isn't that cute? And then we went downstairs. There you can see the underside of the steps. You can see the rust of the metal steps. Now, they weren't compromised, and there were no holes or pitting in the steps. Okay? And so what's happening is here, all we're going to do is paint them. Wire brush and paint the steps. So now we're going down into the basement, and you can, that image you see, that reflection is the water on the floor. So I had to turn on my camera flashlight in a minute because the water, it was just so dark down there. The sump pump was turned off. Cast iron waste pipes. It was very dark down there and very wet and moldy, because that actually is water sitting there and above you can see the reflection of an open grate where the water was simply pouring into the house. This was a service entrance or manufacturer, some sort of a fire escape or some sort of emergency exit, and the water was just pouring in to the house. So we just had our room. There's my electrical panel. So there's more water, as you can see. I finally got the lights to work, my camera to work. And so then I went back outside to finish walking around the property to take some more pictures to make sure I didn't miss anything. Make sure I got all the views of all my concrete blocks. The handrail was loose. I wanted to make sure I got a picture of the loose handrail. Make sure I got a picture of the chipping, flaking wood, rotted windows. And then this is the other side wall that was stuccoed. Another building was next to it, and that building was demolished. And it's very interesting because you see this building had been removed on the left side of the house, but if you look at the picture, that building is still there. So that shows you how old this image is on Google Maps. This building had been demolished. So this looks like it was part of this whole factory, and whatever happened, this is gone now. This is completely gone. And now it's an empty lot. And there's another view of my horrible broken up concrete all the way from the edge of my property line. I went right to the edge of the property line so I could see all the areas that I needed to replace. All of this is my client's responsibility because this is part of his dwelling, and all the way around to the side. And there I went to that side corner. There's that corner doorway. There you can see it. And there you can see that the back blocks were pretty okay. Some damage you can see here to the stucco at the corner. The missing capping on the roof line and the water damage down the siding. I was able to look at the roof from the window upstairs, and since the roof, the second floor roof was already leaking, I didn't need to go on it. And so you can see all the rusting and staining on the siding from the metal security grill. Now, these security grills have to be removed. With these bars, with this grill on the windows, this house does not have proper egress. So all these will have to come off. And here you can see the pictures. The stucco. And that's the end. All right, and so those are the pictures. So when I'm walking around the property, I'm just looking at to see what I need to have done. Now let's say, for example, that this client, he claimed he had a contractor. And let's say that the contractor had already provided me with a detailed work write-up and proper plans. So now, the contractor had submitted a proposal to me for the work that he wanted to do. And this is his proposal. All right, where quality makes friends. All right, so this is his proposal. Now, without going to the last page, I'd like you all to I want to get a feel for what your skill set is. In the chat box, I'd like you all to tell me how much you think this project will cost to create one apartment and a 2-story family home, complete with everything. 2 bathrooms, Two full bathrooms, I'm sorry, 3 full bathrooms, 1 for the apartment and 2 for the home, a full kitchen, all new drywall, all new electric, all new heating, wood, floors, everything. How much do you think this should cost as a rehab amount? Type in what you think the number should be for this project. Okay, we've got one number come up. Okay, so Tom said 250,000. Amy said she's not that good yet to do this. Oni said $175. All right. Okay, so now Tom, your number is a little bit high. 250 is a little pricey for what they're trying to do. I don't think I need 250 because I'm not having to do any exterior work. 175, including contingency, is where I came at. Philadelphia is very cheap to do construction. That's why a lot of investors are buying here, because construction costs are very low. Now, so we all agree, raise your hand if we all agree that this project is at least $125,000 in repairs. Raise your hand if you agree that. So now, this contractor had sent a proposal, and that is his cost for the entire project. So, raise your hand if you think that this is not an acceptable amount for this project. So here is the situation. Let's say, for the purpose of discussion, because we're talking about what to do when you're at the property. Now, when he gave this proposal, first of all, it's missing a page. This page is blank. So I don't know if he didn't write it, didn't fill something in, but I only got 2 pages of information, 3 pages of information. And what he put down, he's going to install a new sidewalk, and he was going to charge $6,800 for the sidewalk. That's a number I can work with. I don't have a problem with that number. He's going to put new joists where damage were removed. He's going to frame out the bathroom, frame out the apartment, etc. And he's charging $8,600 for that. I don't have a problem with that number either. Where I do have a problem is the fact that, for an example, he has indicated here that he's going to be able to install 2 HVAC units. Both are only $60,000. Now that's my first problem. That one side of the building, the whole house, which is a 2-floor, which is going to have 3 bedrooms and a bath upstairs, plus it's going to have the living, dining room, kitchen on the first floor and a basement. 60,000 BTUs is not big enough to supply the needs of that dwelling. It is your job to tell the client and the contractor, this isn't going to work for me for 60,000. You need to have, for my happiness, I'm going to need at least 100,000 BTU, and that's if we insulate the thing like nobody's business. 60,000 for the apartment. I don't even want to put a 60,000 BTU unit for an efficiency unit. I just want to put in one of those Lennox wall units that are operated by electricity that will provide HVAC to that area, and then I want to put a baseboard radiator in the bathroom. And that would save the client some money. So how many like the idea of putting in one of those Lennox wall heating units in the ground floor apartment, and just an electric baseboard heater for the bathroom, and then a 125,000 or at the very least 100,000 BTU heater for the house? Doesn't that sound like a better use of the money? Your job is to tell people what is a better use of the money. So now some of you are home inspectors and have never been involved in residential construction, and you might be getting a little panicky right now. Don't panic, okay? You have good judgment. You know that you're going to see that you're going to learn how to do these things. And if you're not sure, what are you going to do? You're going to schedule a coaching call so that I can come out, all right? So yeah, they can go with a 35,000 BTU furnace, but I don't even want to have a furnace because, as you saw in the pictures, this space, where am I going to stick a furnace? In this little corner lot, okay? Where am I going to stick a furnace for this piece here? I don't have any space for a furnace, and I don't want to have to deal with that. I just want to, and besides, with the furnace, that's more maintenance, it's more upkeep on the part of the owner. I can just basically cut out a window and stick right there in that wall one of my Lennox units high up in the ceiling that's going to provide HVAC and heat and cooling and tap into the meter for that apartment. And it's going to cost me less money to put in, and it's cost me less money to maintain and operate. I don't expect you all, I don't expect you all to know how to do these things off the top of your head right away. But I do expect you all to reach out to me to say, Catherine, what do you think I should do with this? How do you think I should move forward? So by a show of hands, how many of you had thought of the idea of converting the commercial space to an apartment as an alternative way to get it repaired? How many of you thought that was an option right away? Right, only 2 of you, which is okay. I don't have a problem with that. How many of you thought about putting in the wall unit for the heat as opposed to a furnace? Okay, just a few of you. Again, so the point is, you don't have to know because you know who does. And so all you have to do is know that I have enough ideas and possibilities that I can help you know what to do. So now, I don't like the fact, so even if this was a situation where 2 60,000 BTU furnaces with 2-ton cooling units would work, how many of you think that you can barely buy the materials for $12,000, much less install them? $12,000 in my world is the cost to provide and install one 100,000 BTU heating and cooling system with ductwork. How many do agree with that? That $12,000 is just the cost for one system installation, much less 2. So now this is not acceptable. These numbers are not acceptable. He wants to put in a new meter socket. He wants to install a house panel and an apartment panel box in the basement, install apartment 2-panel box in the 2nd floor apartment, rough-in wiring for the entire property, receptacles in every bedroom, rough-in wiring for CO and smoke detectors, and he's charging $15,000. I don't have a problem with that number either, except he needs to install hardwired smoke detector systems in a fully gutted property like this. And I don't see that information. He says rough-in wiring for CO smoke detectors, so I'm assuming that's hardwires. A torch-down rubber roof. So I'm not going to go through his entire bid, but if his bid had been acceptable, if his total scope of work had, and with the exception of a few items, I don't think it's going. I think we can get his number up to a higher number where I can be happier. But with the exception of a few items, I could be happy with this bid. And if the contractor, I could verify that he was licensed, qualified, had his EPA lead safe practices certification, and was a fully capable to be validated by the lender, I don't need to do the preliminary work write-up. This is an important consideration. If you get the contractor's bid before your appointment, and if he gives, and in this case, I needed drawings, okay? So, who here would like to see something that will make you laugh? This, I said, all I need is a handwritten drawing of how you're going to be laying out the property, where you're going to put the walls, where you're going to put the kitchens, where you're going to put the baths, and how you're going to lay out the bath. I need room sizes, and I need dimensions. You don't have to get architectural plans. The contractor, you can just do them on paper for me, okay? You can get that from a contractor, but it can't look like this, okay? So, anyone want to type in the chat box LOL or RO rolling on the floor, LO laughing out loud? Yeah, exactly. Nice. So, what did I have to do? I had to send an email to the borrower and the contractor and the loan officer, so he knew why I couldn't move forward with this work write-up, because this is what I got sent. Okay? This isn't going to work for me, and I'm not going to, and if this is what the contractor thinks I'm going to accept as handwritten drawings of the property, he is sorely mistaken. And also, what does this say to me? This also says to me this is possibly not a good qualified contractor if this is what he thinks is an acceptable handwritten floor plan of this property. So how many of you here would be concerned about the competency of this contractor? Okay, so like everybody's hand's flying up right now. But let's say he didn't give me such a poorly written drawing. And what I ended up doing, just to give you a clue, let me go back to ISN. Let me show you the email that I sent to them all. Oh, I want to hit send emails. Emails, okay, email, and I send it through ISN so that I have a permanent record inside my reporting system. So I'm going to look for the word Burks. And let's see, next. Oh, I got to put the property address. It's not going to work without the full property address. Okay. Now the question is, do I request drawings from contractors ahead of accepting a bid? No. I only require drawings if drawings are necessary, if it is necessary to support the work. If I need drawings to know what I'm doing, then yes, I will request drawings. In many cases, I don't need drawings. So if I don't need them, I don't ask for them. So this is 2715 West Berks. So let's go out to here. I want to show you the email that I sent to everybody when I got that ridiculousness. Because we uploaded, this is what was uploaded. When he sent the email, my assistant put it in with the folder. And so what I did was I sent an email to them, and that was, what's the address again? 2715 West Berks. So let's go to View Sent Email, 2715 West Berks. So I'm going to search 2715 West Berks. I'm going to search. No messages found. Okay. Oh, come on. Really? We're going to be that way? Okay, so I'm trying to find the email that I sent to them so you can see what I told them. I basically told them, this is unacceptable. Let's see, actions, view email events. That might be it. Nope, it's not here. I'm not going to waste time looking for it, but I sent him a letter saying, thank you for your quote-unquote hand drawings and the proposal. I am not comfortable with this proposal because I don't think the amount is enough to do the project. And for example, let's just go to the heating section, and I wrote, to provide and install two 60,000 BTU forced air furnaces with all ductwork would be $12,000 for one, much less for two. So that alone is a number that would take me up closer to where I need to be. And I said, and in addition, the drawings that I received were completely unacceptable and will need to be completely rewritten to include the necessary components, or I will be forced to require an architect to do drawings. Okay, that's what I'm going to have to do if I don't get what I need. But let's back up. So let's roll back, and let's say before you go out to the property, the contractor sent you a plan that looked like this, and the plan was properly worded. It had covered every single thing that you saw. There was nothing additional that needed to be added, and the total was a number that you could work with. Now, let's say this number was 134 instead of 94, and he had it broken down like this. What you're going to do when you get out to the property, and you're going to ask the contractor to be present. If they already have a contractor, you're going to find out if he's validated. Before you meet him at the property, you get your back office to check. Does he have all the proper credentials, particularly his EPA Lead Safe Practices certification? This contractor did not come up on the roster. And you can search for Lead Safe Remodeler. Okay, so here is the link for the renovation, repair, and repainting program where the contractors have to be approved. And here you can see, this is important, in October 2016, EPA fined someone $69,000 for failing to comply with this rule. Okay, they are going to start cracking down because it's a great way for them to get money. So now, this is called the RRP program, and you can search and you can actually prove to your clients and your contractors that they must have this by going to www.leadcertification and then your state. So let's put tx.com because we have James Mitchell from Texas. All right, so there's lead certification, tx.com. So it's the EPA lead certification for Texas. So now if I put NV, come on. Whoops, I wrote the wrong one. PA, you can see it's the same thing with the word Pennsylvania, so you get the idea. It's the same for every single one. So now, how do you know if the contractor is approved? All right, so now the question is, what if they sub out the portion which deals with the lead to a subcontractor no, that is not acceptable. The general contractor who is being paid for the project must have the approval. It is not a matter of the sub doing it. Okay? He is even though the sub is doing the work, he is the one being paid. So he is the one who is doing the remodeling. So he must, who does this apply to? Does this apply to you? If it does not, okay, if you are doing work on any property this is required for any renovation that disturbs more than 6 square feet of interior or 20 square feet of exterior in residential or child-occupied facilities built before 1978. Now, the general contractor must have this license. Why? Because there is no guarantee that he's going to use that same sub after closing, is there, Amy? And what if the sub, he changes, what if that sub is not available and he gets another sub who is not? He, as the GC, must have this license to ensure that all the necessary prerequisites are done. So now, as you can see, here in my Pennsylvania area is a list of where this course can be taken. The test can be taken in PA. And so, you know what? I wanted to say this. I came up with this idea last night. This is a great way for a very limited amount of money, for $200, for you to be able to go to this class. You can register and take this class so you can know what the requirements are, and what a great way for you to find qualified contractors. Because these are people who are doing the right thing. They're there to take a class. So now you might say, well, I don't want to have to spend $200 to take just to take a class. Well, wouldn't it be a good idea for you to have knowledge on what these requirements are? How many think that this is not a bad investment to get a list of contractors you can possibly be able to work with 203Ks, as well as generate additional knowledge for you about your industry? Okay, so pretty much everybody's hands went up. So you can see we pulled up the list for Texas. We have James Mitchell here from Texas. So James, tell me, are any of these places near you? Raise your hand if yes, or just type in your chat box. So I guess you'll be scheduling to take a class soon, huh, James? So this is something that each of you can do in your own states. You talk about how you can't find contractors. Every state has this program. So we can put VA because Amy Mitchell is here. So here are the courses in Virginia. The list goes on. And as you can see in Virginia, I don't know, Amy, this is the refresher course, because the licensing does expire. So it's not like it's a one and done. They have to keep taking the refresher course. But as you can see, the refresher course is as little as $100, but the full course is $198. So these are areas that everyone can take advantage of, because there's a renovation, repair, and painting program. The firm must be certified, the renovator must be trained, and they must follow the work practices. So now the question is, anyone doing special trade contractors, general contractors. So Amy, there's your answer right there. General contractors must have this certification. Okay? Electric, plumbing, painting, carpentry, windows, the list is on and on. So now, here you can see that this is what needs to be done and who needs to do this. So now the next question is, how do I know if a contractor is actually a renovator? So here's the renovation program, the RRP rule. This is the rule that you can go to. And there's a link where you can actually search to see if the remodeler that is supposedly working on has this. So let's see, where is the one? Let's see, here we go. Find a lead certified firm. So now I'm going to Pennsylvania. Now these are the states that have special rules. Currently 14 states and 1 tribe are authorized EPA to administer their own RRP program. So if you're in one of these states, the federal government says that their program is superseding the federal program. So if you're in one of these states, you want to click the link to see what are the requirements in that state. Okay? So for assistance in identifying certified firms, contact the National Lead Information Center, For a list of entities whose certification has been suspended, revoked, or modified, or reinstated, click here. But if you want to find your nearest certified firm, so what I did was I put in the state of Pennsylvania, and I put in the name Avery Enterprises, Inc. There you can see I've got it right there. I just wanted to search by Avery Enterprises. And I hit search firm. There are no certified firms with the name Avery Enterprises. So I had to send in that email to the borrower and the client, the borrower and the lender. Guess what? From what I can see, your contractor is not qualified to do the 203K program for you. So his bid is not even of any validation to me because he's not qualified. But I want you to think about what you're doing. So at this point, this project needs to go to a feasibility study. But I can't do the feasibility study. I don't care about his proposal. I need the floor plan. So I know what size he's going to make these rooms. And if the contractor he's working with will give me that information, any other contractor I need to have bid will be able to take advantage of that information. Does that make sense? If that contractor is not valid, that's not my fault. I'm going to make him do the work for me. But now, because I know that this contractor most likely is not eligible to do this project, and I'm going to need to put it out to bid, this is the point at which I'm going to click the button, and I'm going to now know that when I come back to my office, I need to complete the preliminary work write-up. And I'm going to fill in all these sections. Now, the March webinar that we're going to be doing, the tech call for March, I'm going to be going through step by step how to complete the work write-up package. Okay? But let's say, for example, that this contractor was valid. Let's say he had given me a detailed report that I could work with. Even with these types of numbers, I can work with this. Because what I'm going to do is I'm going to call the contractor up and I'm going to say, Mr. Avery, I received your bid and it looks very comprehensive and the total amount of your project is acceptable for what I think this project will cost with the addition of a 20% contingency, which is what I'm doing for this job, obviously. However, I'm going to need to reorganize your scope of work into 35 different categories of improvements, and I'm going to reapportion the amounts that you have put on your proposal into those 35 categories. What I'm going to need to do is, do you care where I put the money, as long as you get the total by the end of the project? Bearing in mind that when you are working with this program, you will only be paid when I come out and inspect work that's done based upon line items in the scope of work. So now I get the question back always, well, do all the items have to be completed before does the whole item have to be totally finished before I can get paid? I said no. So for example, if you have, I will put in on your project a line item that says install rough-in plumbing for first floor apartments, including waistline and supply lines. Well, if when I get out to the property, you have the lines in, but you don't have the fixtures, you don't have the, let's say you have half the lines in and no waste pipe, I will pay you 50% of that line item. But I'm going to have to break it down into different categories. Are you okay with that? Most of the time the contractor will say, I don't care how you rearrange the numbers as long as I can get paid for the work when I do it. And I'm like, that's not a problem. So let's say, for example, that this work write-up was written in a manner that I could actually use the details, okay, and that the floor plan was functional as well. In that circumstance, what you need to do is, before you finalize the feasibility study, you need to do this before you finalize it. So after you key all this in and you hit finalize, you can't go back. And if you do try to go back, you'll lose everything you've written up. So if you've already got a contractor who is valid, he meets all the prerequisites to be a qualified contractor for the property, and you find that out at this point, before you do your feasibility study, what you're going to do is you're going to simply say to the client, your contractor has sent me a valid document. Now, again, I have accepted the $400 from him, but I don't need to do a preliminary report. Do you approve the numbers that your contractor sent over? Yes, I do. All right, well, I need you to sign his proposal, and then I'm going to create the final work write-up from that document. We're going to skip the preliminary report, and I'm just going to go straight to the final document that you'll need for closing, and I'm going to need you to pay the balance based upon the total amount of that project. Now, your contractor's numbers, when I spoke to him, he said that they did not include permit fees. So the number on my final work write-up will be higher because it will include additional fees for permits and some other comments that he and I discussed. But once I finish making the work write-up, the system will automatically generate a matching contractor bid for him to sign. Are you okay with that, Mr. Borrower? Sure am. Okay, well, the project is going to be $125,000. The total fee for this project is going to be $1,150. Of that, I'm going to give you a credit of the $300 that you paid at the time of the initial consultation. $100 is kept. $100 is applied toward the site visit, and so I need you to get ready to pay me $710. What was it? It was $1,100 minus $3, so that's $800. I'm going to send you over an email for you to pay that balance due, so that I can complete the final package. That's how you get paid. So now you can say to them, I'm going to be having this completed in 3 to 4 days. Before I release it to you, I will need you to pay the balance due. And so what I'm going to do at that point is I'm going to edit this report, and we're getting ahead of ourselves. This is also going to be covered again when we talk about final work write-up. I'm going to go in here to the fee, and now I'm going to add the term for work write-up. I passed it. I'm going to reorganize these. There it is, 203K draw inspection. There it is, work write-up. So now I'm going to put the balance due for the work write-up. We already had the feasibility inspection. Okay, so now the balance due is $700. And he's going $800, excuse me, for the repair amount. So now that is going to now be telling me that he needs to pay that new amount. I now have an open invoice, and then in ISN I'll send him an invoice with a link for him to be able to pay the balance due. So now, because if I had a properly completed contractor proposal, with or without plans, depending on if they were necessary, if I need architectural plans, then obviously I can't move forward without them. But there's no need for me to do a preliminary work write-up if the borrower has already approved the contractor's plan, the numbers look right, and I'm just waiting for architectural drawings to support the work, or in this case a handwritten drawing. I don't have to do a single thing. As you can see, I went out to this property on January 17th. Today is February 9th. I have not put pen to paper, and I will not put pen to paper until I get the drawings. And if this contractor is not eligible, if he's ineligible, then I will have to do the feasibility. If he does have his EPA certification and it's just under a different name and I just typed it in wrong or whatever, and he can provide me his number, okay? So remember, you want to go out to this site here. Whoops, where is it? And how many of you would like me to give you this link right now on the chat box? And how many of you are going to make this a bookmarked site on your computer? Okay, so if he says, I do have a number, I am a certified person, you know, refresh. Then give me your certification number, give you the one that's the correct link, copy, and let me give you that link again. Oops, and go to the chat box. Chat, there it is right there. This is the new link. All right, firm search. So he says, oh, I have the certification. What's your number? And then if he sends me the number and I search it and it's valid, then fine. If he has a valid number, I can work with this contractor and tell him, you've got to change some of your numbers. And if he agrees to rewrite his proposal, I don't have to do a preliminary work write-up. I can just go straight to work write-up. And so in order to do that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to roll back to the pre-inspection because I no longer need a preliminary report. I'm going to roll back to the beginning. I'm going to add the contractor. So now I'm not going to add him yet because he might not be someone I want to add. But for the purposes of discussion, let's say I'm adding sample contractor. Okay, so now I'm going to go back. Bingo. So now I'm going to, instead of doing a preliminary, instead of this is a pre-inspection report, now I'm just going to go straight to work write-up. So what do I suggest you do? I suggest that you, before you got to a property, do not finalize your pre-inspection report. You can hit the sign button, you can print and preview the pages, but do not finalize it till you come back and know that, yeah, it's right, I need to go on to the I'm done, I need to go on to feasibility, or I can go straight to work write-up. So you have a choice. If you finalize the pre-inspection, it will take you to the feasibility and contractor bidding portion of the project. Or if you don't need to do so, particularly if it's a refinance and you don't have to worry about a feasibility because the client already knows for certain that they're moving forward, then you're just going to go straight to work write-up. So now remember, in my conversation with the borrower, I'm going to let him know that if you decide that you want me to do the work write-up, you will owe this fee. I need that, and there's no refund once I deliver that report. At this point, you've only invested $400. If you're not sure if you're moving forward, then you tell me now, because if you think you're not going to move forward, you will only owe me, you will not owe me any additional money. There's no refund of the $400, but you'll owe me no additional funds at this point. Okay? So I hit the work write-up button, skip to work write-up, and here, if the preliminary reporting steps are not necessary for the project, as the contractor bid has already been provided and accepted, I can just drop down to work write-up. I bypass feasibility. I bypass contractor bidding. Why? Because I already know it's feasible and I already have a contractor. So this is your shortcut to the work write-up section. Does everybody get that? Do you understand that? Because people have been asking questions about this, and I want to make sure you're clear that you can go straight to the point of doing the work write-up, and if you are doing so, particularly if it's a refinance, you do not take $400 at the time of the appointment. If you're at a refinance appointment and the client is doing every single thing, make sure and they've already sent you a detailed contractor bid, an architectural plan, then the fee that you're going to bill them for is the full amount of the work write-up. You're not going to do a feasibility. You're going to go straight to full work write-up. Does everyone understand that? Raise your hand. You want to get the full fee at your initial appointment, okay? The full work write-up fee is due at that time, because you're not going to have to go through the process of entering a feasibility report, contractor bidding, and all the rest. So you're going to say, I understand you're looking to do the 203K. I understand you already have a contractor bid. I already have architectural plans. I've looked them over, and in anticipation of our appointment, it looks like everything's going to be fine, and I'm just going to be coming out here to do a site assessment for the purpose of the report. And so I'm going to be collecting the full fee for the work write-up, because that is the only report I'm going to need to produce for you. Okay? So that's why you would potentially go straight to work write-up. Okay? So I'm not going to click this, finalize. I will click the sign so I get their signature on the documents. But remember, you should already have them signed in your ISN. So let's go back. So now I can go straight to the work write-up. After I've entered the contractor, I've added him into the system. All right, so if I want to add him to the project, if he's not on my list already. All right, so this is how you add a contractor to the order. To add a contractor to your account, you can go into here. May I suggest that for the purposes of expansion of your company, and until we can adjust the way the portals work, add your contractors from the company side, not from the consultant side. But if you never intend to grow your company and have any other consultants, and it's only going to be you in the game, then you can enter them right here as a consultant. But the way we've set it up, particularly because people have different states and would have contractors for separate states, we have made it so that each consultant can have their contractors exclusively for them. And the contractors that are set up on the company side, from the company portal, I think it's let's see. Let's see. I have to look up my password. Let's see. I'll go to the NAFEC one because I can.
Your Majesty, I just wanted to remind you of the time.
1 minute. Thank you. Okay, well, if you log into the company side and you enter, if you log into the company management side, so let me go back to home, hit login, and if you go into the company portal, you can enter the contractor, and that contractor will be available to you as a consultant. Okay? So, in review, to go out to do a feasibility inspection, you need to have with you the inspection agreement, the pre-consultation appointment agreement. You need to have the merest amount of tools, mostly a camera and a digital recorder is all you need. A camera and a recorder is all you need, which actually can be in one device, and a flashlight. That's all, at the minimum, that's all you need. And you're going to be able to come back to your office to be able to document the paperwork that you need to complete the package. When we do a consultation appointment, we have a post email letter that goes out to the client to let them know, thank you, look forward to your report in a few days. So that concludes the section on reports needed before going out to a 203K, how to evaluate the property, and how, if needs be, you can go straight to work write-up. So we're going to, was this a valuable training today? Does everyone feel more comfortable about this process at this point now? Okay, so it is exactly 9:30, so I want to thank you all for being on the information. Yes, we're going to distribute the ISN docs through Dropbox, and also we'll put them on a link on the website. So until I'm able to support you in the future, ladies and gentlemen, be safe if it's snowing, put sunblock on if it's sunny, but be outstanding either way. Goodbye.
Thank you,
and
everyone.
Have a great day.
Have a great day. Thank you.